Hey guys, it's Bellamy and welcome to a game review here on Midnight Suns. Today we are looking at 2022's Best Multiplayer Award-winning Game of the Year, Splatoon 3. But instead of reviewing the multiplayer mode, which is needless to say really amazing, we aren't going to be talking about that today. Instead, we are going to talk about the single-player mode. So, is the single-player hero mode story campaign really worth playing in 2023? That is the question that we are most definitely going to answer today in this review. And so without further ado, let's get on with our review of Splatoon 3's single-player story mode. Alright, let's first talk about the gameplay. Splatoon 3 is an extremely innovative third-person shooter that is unlike any other popular shooter game on the market currently. Instead of blasting your enemies with bullets and all kinds of modern firearms, you instead fight with ink. That's right, the goal of this game is to use ink to strategically outmaneuver and destroy your enemies. Covering an area with ink allows you to turn into a squid or octopus and hide in it. And it also allows you to move more quickly and recharge ink ammo for your weapon while you're at it. You can also eliminate your enemies by covering them with enough ink. And you have a whole range of primary and secondary ink weapons at your disposal to do just that. In the semi-open world single-player mode, you get to enter individual stages that each come with their own set range of weapons that you are allowed to use within those stages. And how you choose to approach stages with those weapons is entirely up to you. The single-player stages feature a combination of puzzles, skill tests, enemies, and of course, epic boss fights. Fans of puzzle shooter games like Portal will feel right at home with the puzzles in this game. Although do bear in mind that the puzzles here are much more kid-friendly and they are nowhere near as difficult as some of the puzzles in the Portal series. The boss fights, on the other hand, offer a good challenge even for veteran gamers. And those were easily my favorite parts of the single-player campaign mode. Now let's talk about the story. To be honest, the story in this game is really simple and it definitely isn't a huge focus of the game, even in the single-player mode. Basically, you, the protagonist, have become the newest recruit in the new Squid Big Splatoon, a heroic group of soldiers that have been assembled to save the world from the mysterious fuzzy ooze that has covered the Splatlands. After your mentor, the retired Captain Cuttlefish, is kidnapped by the shadowy creature responsible for the fuzzy ooze, it becomes your duty as the new Agent 3 of the new Squid Big Splatoon to set out on a journey with your fellow recruits to clean up all the fuzzy ooze and save Captain Cuttlefish. And that is basically the whole story in a nutshell. You do meet some interesting villains along the way when you reach each boss fight, and everything ties up pretty nicely in the grand finale, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Even though the story was super simple, I loved it for what it was, and the ending of the story was really satisfying. By the time the credits rolled, I had a huge smile on my face, and I think overall, the story was just absolutely delightful and funny. Visually speaking, this game isn't going to blow anybody's socks off. Because it is a Nintendo Switch game after all, and it is not going to look as visually groundbreaking as something like Horizon Forbidden West on the PlayStation 5. However, that being said, as with all first-party Nintendo titles, this game looks absolutely great on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is always smart with the kind of art style that they use for their games, and they always design them in a way that allows them to shine even with hardware that is underpowered when compared to the competition. And this game is no exception. It has a very colourful cartoony art style that is reminiscent of most of the other first-party Nintendo titles. And I think the game looks amazingly gorgeous. It doesn't go for the heavy realism that most current and next-gen games usually aim for nowadays. And I think that's a good thing because the visual style that the Splatoon games are known for really complements the lighthearted and fun tone of the series as a whole. The animations for all the characters and weapons are extremely fluid, which really helps make the combat feel that much more enjoyable. The cutscenes in this game are also fantastic visual spectacles, and I do wish that Nintendo would make a Splatoon movie one day, seeing as how successful the Super Mario Bros. Movie has been. Okay, and now let's talk about the audio. I love all the music tracks that were made for this game. All the music has a very boppy electronic techno city pop vibe to it, and it fits with the world of Splatoon perfectly. I particularly love all the music tracks that they made by modulating the voices of actual professional singers and making them sound like squids. For those who don't know, the music in the Splatoon series is so popular that they actually have concerts in Japan where performers dress up as music idols from the game and play music from the game to an audience of thousands. If I ever have the chance to attend one of these live performances, you know I'll be there in a jiffy. From the sounds of all the various weapons in the game firing out spurts of ink to the sound of your enemies being splattered, it all just sounds fantastic. To put it simply, everything in this game sounds really fresh. And now it is time to give this game a final score. I am giving Splatoon 3's single player hero mode story campaign an excellent 8.5 out of 10. The story mode in this game is a huge step up from the previous Splatoon games. And if you are a fan of any of the single player modes in the previous games, then you are going to absolutely love this. Even though the story is really simple, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the awesome gameplay makes this game definitely worth playing. The single player campaign really sets you up with all the skills you need before you head into the multiplayer mode, which is where this game shines even brighter. If you are buying this game just for the single player mode only, then I would say it is still worth it if you are a huge fan of the kind of simple storytelling that is often found in first-party Nintendo titles like games from the Mario and Kirby series. This game is just good, simple, clean fun for families of all ages, and I highly recommend it to anybody looking to just chill and have a good time relaxing with a shooter that is nowhere nearly as stressful as most of the other shooter games out there. And that's all for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already, as our channel is just a small fry and your support would be a really great help. Anyway, thanks again for hanging around, and as always, stay gold, everybody. Oh, and before I go, I just want to say that I have a friend who worked on the art department for this game, and she did an absolutely amazing job on this game. In fact, here is her name coming up right now in the credits. That's her name coming up right now on the right side there, guys. Andrea Aojia, and that's her. Great job, Andrea. That's my homie right there, that's my girl. Great job, great job. You know, I've been playing every Splatoon game since the first one, and to actually know somebody who's now worked on Splatoon 3, which is like, I think is by far the best Splatoon game. Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm just so happy to be friends with someone that's that awesome. Great job, Andrea. Great job.